Hi everyone, this is Ronak Parmar and I am a TY student doing OSWE, where I'll be talking about Whitebox pen testing and exploit development, where we will be seeing some vulnerabilities like type juggling or advanced SQL injections, then pass the hash and SSTI. And at the end we will see how to create a Python script to automate the attack and then get a reverse shell to it. So our first topic is type juggling, where type juggling means it's about comparison, where you compare all the type of the variables like string, integers, arrays, and like comparing to strings to integers, integers to strings, float to integer, float to string, all that stuff. Where in PHP there are two types of type juggling. Two types of comparison. One is the loose comparison and second is the strict comparison. Where loose comparison contains 2 equals to and strict comparison contains 3 equals to. Why it's called loose comparison? Because if you see the second one, like 3 is equals to string 3, even the types are different and it's a string, still it's give me the true. And even if the 7.7 like 77.5 is equals to 77.000 gives me true, because even the 77.5000 is actually equal to 77.5, and that's why it gives me true. And even if a string, can see there's a I'm a string but it's equals to 0 gives me true, because in this state the first character of the string is being checked, where there is nothing means there is a 0, and in last we can see there is a 7 in this first string, like in this last string, first character of this string is 7, and I'm comparing it with the integer 7. That's why it's checking for the first character and it's equal to 7, and that's why I get true. Wherein strict comparison, the type of the comparison should be equal, like string should be compared to string only, integer to integer only. If you change the type, so you will get false. Like I showed you in like the comparison, I both equal and I just added a one more equal to sign, which converts to the strict comparison. And where string is not equals to this integer, this string or this float is not equal to this string, and its integer is not equals to string, because I told you that strings types should be the same. And these are some of the important comparison that are used during attacks, uh, especially during authentication bypass or something like that, or even a session for like session tokens. During session tokens are being checked, so at that time these comparisons are being used. And the most important one is this one, where 0e23 something is equals to 0, because you would be knowing like 0e raised to something, like 0e raised to something, it's always 0, where e means raised to. Like if I put 0 raised to 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, any numbers will always give, which will always give me 0. That's why this string is actually it's not, it's a string, but due to this e, like 0 raised to some values, gives me true to the integer 0. And where this null, like this array is empty, but empty means there is nothing, which is 0, so gives me true. And this the null null gives me null equal to 0 gives me false, because null means it's completely empty, there is not even 0 also. So this one now, okay, main target is going, like I will be showing you source, how to like do source code review, and what request should be there in a what request, like what parameters should be there in a request, so that we will be able to do type juggling and get authenticated or whatever, like convert it into a true. So I created my own lab for this purpose, where you have one example, one, two, three, four. These for example are not like real world. These are just for your understanding, like how like type juggling works and what the things are important during type juggling. For example, this like you can only input numbers. So if I like input any numbers, it gives me false. But if I put 0, it gives me true. In the second one, if I put 0, gives me false. If I put some values, anything numbers, gives me false. So there is a one more. The what is happening here is like our input. If you can see here, our input is getting MD5 hashed. So suppose if I put 1, it's being MD5 hashed. If I put some alphabets, MD5 hash. So as I told you, like this, our main goal is to try to compare it to string 0. So what we want here is like just like we have to input a value so that it converts into 0 e and something. Yeah, we can just or we can also just input 0 and it's enter and we can get success, but this but in real world this is not going to happen. So I just put this value in here just to demonstrate you. So there is a one method, like one hash which is called magic hash. If you just google it, magic, sorry. So, so this value, if you see that if I input this value into here, and when it's get MD5 hashed, I get some values like this one 0 e automatically. So if I like take this value and compare to 0 string 0 and I press enter, I get true. But even is suppose even one alphabet between these numbers can convert this comparison totally into false. So, and the third one. Now what happens here is like I'm putting something, and this one is getting both getting separated. Okay, and you can see your MD5 hash. So even if you like right now put this value into here, and MD5 is not like what we got. So at this time what is happening here is like your this value, your name and your password is getting merged and then converted into MD5 hash. So what you can do is like just put this value and just take some other value, just cut it from here and paste here, and you get the true. So the same value. Yeah. And the example 4 is a bit difficult because in this one you have a choice, like you can put any values or any length of value or anything, but in this you must contain at least one number, one uppercase and one lowercase letter, and at least 8 or more characters. So for this one what we can do is like a name is free, you can put any name even if one character is okay for you, but password should contain a one number, one uppercase, one lowercase, and at least more than 8 characters. And more than 8 characters, press enter. I don't get. So and even in this what is happening, like your name and password is getting merged and then converted into MD5 hash. So like the password cannot be controlled by you, means it is controlled by you but not fully controlled by you. So what in this case what you can do, just brute force this name parameter, where you will like input your names in different way until this and this hash, this combination gets a hash which starts from 0e and some values. So for this purpose I created a Python script where this whole attack is going to be automated. Let me see where this files, just a second, I have to search for it. Yeah, so these are the files I have, Python script I have created. Just we have a look at it, what it's going here. Okay, the script starts from the main function where it's check for the user arguments. One is the password and one is the username length, and then these are being this is being set. The variables are being set from the user arguments, and then gen code is being this function is being called, where which have two parameters called password and the username length. Then on line 4, this there's a function of gen code where we have a loop from for loop where which where this creates an random numbers like from A B C D E F G and A B B C C like loops until, and there is a variable called hash which will convert the words, like words are like these, like A then B then C then E, and this word and plus our password that we are going to input. So this word is going to be like a name. So this is so what happens here, suppose this loop is contain a character. So your a character goes here, and it's a character plus the password is getting merged, and then the length should be like 32. And then there's a check for there's a regex for a check that if the MD5 hash starts from 0 e and some digits, then then it will just return the word that is being created and the password that we have inputted, and the queue, and this loop will just break, and we will get, and just we get the particular name, that what name should be I input, so that type juggling happens, and the MD5 hash which has been created converts to into 0e, something like that. So let me run this code. Right, Python exercise 4. Okay, we want password and username. So like password would be something which we want, like AA, some digits, and some lowercase, and should be more than 8 characters. Okay, this here only. And the username length, suppose I want username length should be 8 characters. Press enter. So what will happen here, it will just create a loop until I get until the MD5 hash is created from 0e something or and some values. Okay, this will actually take a very long time, so I have already create, so I just show you a demo. Like here the size of the MD5 hash is 32, so if I just convert it into something lower value like 15, and now if I convert it, so I'm just getting the values, because right now what happening here is only the 15 characters are being converted. Like there are 32 characters of MD5, but only from that only first 15 characters are being taken from, it's been taken, and in that zero, and in that MD5 the zero, that is 0 then E and some characters. So this will take some time if I convert it into 32. So I already know what I have already this is, yeah. So after doing a brute forcing for this, after almost something 156 seconds, I get this username. So if I just put this username here and the password here, I get success. So you can just check out this code, because this is very important during brute forcing for type juggling. Okay, these four were just for a understanding of for type juggling, and these the more type, this part is the real world type juggling, which I from, like this one I took from a real world application called a tutor, where there was a vulnerability, like even like without authentication you can update anyone's email ID and then go for a forget password, and you will get and you will get the password reset option in your updated email ID, and due to which you can compromise anyone's account. So what your task is here to just review this code and find out where is the type juggling is happening, and how you will exploit this, like what parameters or what type of request you can create, so that you can do a type juggling and get success and like update this ID. So if you want to try it yourself, you can just pause the video and try to do a source code review by yourself. Okay, so the if you see on line 14, there is a check for a code is equals to variable m. So if you see the m value is set to the get parameter m. So like it is completely in our control, and the code is being md5 hashed of e, date, and id, and from where you can see only the substring 0 to 10 is being converted. So means even if md5 hash converts 32, the code variable has this variable has only 10 characters of the md5 hash, first 10 characters of md5 hash. So e character, if you can see that e character is also in a control, and id character is also in a completely in the control, and the id is integer. But a date, you can't see any date variable, what is the like value of this date. So what is happening, like date is like everything is under control, but this code is not, is like partially in your control. So you can manipulate the value of the code, uh, but you can't, but not completely. So what I have to do, like I can input m is equal to 0, and for code, like e is equal to some value, and date I don't know what is the value, so I don't have any control over this value. And id I can put anything like 1 2 3 something like that, and I will, and this will get a md5 hash. So there here will be md5 hash, and here will be 0. So again I have to just brute force until this value converts into md5 hash, which starts from 0 e and some numerical values. So what can, so let's do it. Okay, we need an id. So I'll put id is equals to 1. Okay, nothing. Then and okay, and e is equals to some values. Okay, nothing. Then because you can see if if the get has e, id, and m. Okay, and m is equals to 0. Okay, bad email id, because so at this point you can think like e is some, e is like a email id. So if I put e is equals to like test dot test at the rate test some alphabet and at the rate gmail.com. Okay, wrong code. Okay, this is quite enough. So what we can do is like change the value of id, or like e value, this, because you can see like at the rate gmail.com or at the rate local, you can put anything like at the rate local also, and this gives me true. Okay, this is quite enough. So this is going to be integer only, this is going to be 0 only. In e you have to put at the rate something, your something. And so what is in our completely in our control is t, this part. So I have to brute force this part, like I have to put different values until this all creates md5 of a value which starts from 0 e and some numerical values. So for this reason I have created this python code where you can see this date change email id, this one. So let me explain you what is happening here. So again the main function is being started from here, where the domain like the domain would be your at the rate local or something like that. Then your id is going to be anything 1 2 3, like id is you can think like id is going to be user id, like user 1 user 2 user 3. So you can put user id 1 2 3 and anything. Then prefix length, this means your this value, this this length. Like if you want 5, so there will be like 1 2 3 4 5. If you want 6, then 6. This is going to be a prefix length, because the more the prefix length, you can do more, you can more to brute forcing. And then IP, and then start time or okay, it's not important. Okay, result email ID C. And here is the function which has four parameters like IP and 1 2 3 4 parameters like IP, domain ID, and prefix length. Again, the loop is being created where this enter tools is creating characters from A B C D E F G to n values, and it will be upon up to the prefix length that you put. Suppose if you have put prefix length of 4, so suppose the prefix length is 2, so it will, so this it will create characters from A to ZZ. If the prefix length is up to 4, then it will create from A B C, then A B B, then A, then B B B B B, something like that. And the email is going to be going to be the first, it's going to be the word. Here will be the word. So suppose the word is AA, so here the email is going to be AA. Suppose, let me demonstrate you. Like email is going to be AA and at the rate, and the domain that you have put, the domain will be suppose offsec.local, so it will be like offsec.local. So this is going to be your email ID. Just okay, sec. Yeah. So first is going to be A, then it's going to B, then C, and this different values. And at the end, up to your prefix length, suppose the prefix length is 4, then it will at the end the last value would be like Z Z Z Z. That's it. So after converting in, after then you get a email ID that is E, then you get a URL that you have put in your session.php. Let me see, this is session.php. No, it's update email. Okay, not worries, I have to just change the email ID here. Okay, no problem. I'll just change this email ID. Session to update email .php. Yeah, enough. Yeah, after then printing like then on line 11, you can see that it is the request is getting made. The get request is getting made, and then if this request after like in the response of this request have a text which is like email address has been updated. You can see here email address has been updated when m and code is equal to m, where then echo email address has been updated. So if this happens, it is going to be true, and it will return me the email ID, like email what email I have, the email has been gone, so that I can update, so it can be updated. And at the end, if there is no characters being made, like until I don't get this value uh, up to your prefix length, it will just break, and like you don't get any update. But this will be fine if I run the code in front of you. python python change email. So what I need, a domain name, that would be something local. Okay, I put offset.local, fine. Offset.local. Then ID is going to be 1. The prefix line, suppose I want prefix line up to 3, and the host name is, I'll just take it from here. The host name is going to be, starts from this. Yeah, and if I run this one, okay, it is been hijacked. You can see AZJ and that offset. After if I make this request, I will get a type juggling, and like I will be able to update the ID of this one, right? Rohit at the rate test.local, and it roughly took almost 659 requests. As this was in my local host, so it went so fast, but in real world it might take a bit time. So if I just run this code link, email has been updated. As well, if I change the value here, I get mad. If I just change it here, so this was from a tutor, and if you are more interested in this, you can go and just do just try this one session where where you have to compare this hmac is equals to request hmac, and I have already gave you this demo of how to like create, how to like brute force for the values until you get proper values that you want. So till now this was your type juggling. If any questions regarding type juggling, you can just DM me your on my Twitter account. Okay. Next topic is okay. Next topic is going to be second order SQL injection. Getting loaded. Okay. Yeah. So there's a myth like from for many developers, they think like escaping single quotes in a string based user input used for database transaction will prevent SQL injection. They might be right for their side, but actually this is completely wrong thinking. Why? I'll show you. Like what happens in sanitizing, like user inputs are sanitized and saved new database using a backslash, and that's why SQL injection doesn't happen here. And suppose and doesn't happens, but in database your inputs are being stored using backslashes like colon and all that. But what happened, and some other function like call that input without, and it doesn't sanitize that, and due to which query breaks and actual injection happens on that other function. For example, this in this code you can see that user input, there's a user input called a colon comma bracket close and or 1 equal to 1. Then this input is being saved to database using insert into student username values, and it's being sanitized like slash slash. Okay, and then what happens, suppose there is a function where users are being searched, like if there any username from here or there. So during search, if I search with a username, so what happens, like search everything from student where username like a colon bracket close, the query is closed, or 1 is equal to 1, then hash, and hash means everything after that is getting commented. So what happens here, if you search with this query, you will not just get the one variable, you will just get all the username which is stored into database. And this is how second order SQL injection works. And after listening this, you might like to go and dig in more for SQL injection and inputting like single code to everywhere and just try to recollect it to some from other function. Okay, next one is pass the hash vulnerability. So what pass the hash vulnerability is doing, like doing SQL injection is pretty good. Like you do SQL injection from SQL map, and but you are not able to decode the hash. Like even like decoding doesn't happen. So you cannot convert MD5 into a original string, and like you get frustrated and you think like wish I could like only do your authentication using this hash only. Like username would be your admin and password would be something your hash. So this is a vulnerability called pass the hash, where you log in using a hash. So we will just see this vulnerability later on in a live demo where I have created my own lab for this. Okay, last topic is SSTI. What is SSTI? Is a server side template injections. You would be knowing the languages, programming languages like PHP, Node, use okay, Node is not a PHP, not a language. I'm sorry. These programming uses templates to just present dynamic data via web pages and emails. But if that data is being controlled by the user, it might create you might get a reverse you might get a you might input a malicious you can I mean you can get a reverse shell actually. So there are some suppose that template injections can be used to directly attack web servers internals and often obtain remote code execution, because these templates contain a functions which helps you to execute commands, and you can just directly call that function and input your commands and get a shell. So there are two templates which are like tweak and free maker, which helps you to prevent dynamic data. So let's see some coding stuffs. For example, in this first one, you can see tweak render dear first name not controlled by user, then first name user dot first name. You can see that no values is being controlled by user input. But in this one, however, if users are not if you allowed to customize these emails, problem arises. For example, render get email like a user is able to uh, control these variables using a get request. And if suppose the user input is something like curly braces, double curly braces, and that 7 to 7, and if you can gets 49, is there is a vulnerability of SSTI. And even if there is something username curly braces close and tag, and you get only username and something different value, the also there is a SSTI. I would recommend you to like read some documentations about this, so you will get understanding of how different frameworks have different types of output. After finding like what is the type what which uh, framework is being used for the templates, for template engine, you should read the documentation so that you would know which functions are being used in that framework, so that you can just call that function and do your malicious inputs. So in this one is into a quick function to quick framework. This input can will give you the shell where you call this function exec and then put some values for it, and you get a command execution. Okay, let's dig into some code and find some vulnerabilities and chaining all the vulnerabilities into the one Python script to automate exploit. Yeah. Yeah, this is the web application I have created for this, where you can register, you can there is an admin login and user login and registrations and login, all that. That's it. So I can just go and register myself using A. I have registered A, right, B. I have logged in. And there is a one more feature like for show logs, where you can see your last time like when you have signed up, like when you have logged in the account. Suppose if I go back, log out again, if I go and show here two values. So in this lab, what is the main motive is to do a code code review. So our first motive should be like how this authentication is going on and what parameters is being used, and like how it is being authenticated. So for that I will just open a burp and see what parameters are is being sent. group proxy. Okay, I will put a character and a character and submit it. Well, you can see here there's a form password hidden, then a username and password and submit. The username which we have inputted was a character and the password was a, but you can see it is empty. But however, you can assume like your password a is being converted into some SHA-1 or MD5. To check this out, we will see login.php, that how this authentication is going on. So, it's login.php. Okay, yeah. So what is happening here is on line 88 you can see there is a form which has username, password and submit, where there's a one more is password hidden, and this is going, and this JavaScript you can see the document, the password form hidden is being called, which is equals to hex SHA-1, hex SHA-1, which is like your password is getting SHA-1 hashed, and again and plus like your your means your password, whatever your password is, and that there's a token is being created. So we can I can assume like there is a token, with token and my password is both getting merged and then converted into SHA-1. Like first this value is being converted into SHA-1, and then this value, and then this value plus this value is again converted into SHA-1. So it's like SHA, SHA-1. So it's like your character, suppose your character is a, you inputted a. So in JavaScript, what is happening first? So a character is being converted into into SHA-1 like this, and then again whatever your token, whatever the session token was, is being added here. Suppose the session token is token, and then again it's been getting MD5. Again it's getting hashed, and after that this value is getting created. So this how the your password hidden is getting converted, and your password character, you can see this password is nothing because it's being set to null. I mean is empty string. That's it. So if I see that what is my token here, what I can do, if you see on line 6, you can see if this is if post request, if the post request have the token, then your session token is equal to your post token, and else if there is no token, then if and else if it is that session token is not available, then what will happen, a session token will be created using a SHA-1 and some empty and some random values. So if you can see in my request, there is no session, no request like post request, where from which this is getting executed. So I can assume like session token is getting created to a random strings. So at this point, what you can think like, okay, session tokens are created by themselves, but there is also like session token is also controlled by you. So at this moment, what you can do is like, suppose my password was a, okay, I'll put a here, okay, this was happening like a character was there. If you see in JavaScript, this one, okay, this part is a, okay, this one is md5 SHA-1 hash, which is this value, and then plus your session token, where if I put a token parameter in my post request and with some values, and then again it is getting SHA-1 hashed with my this one and the value of the token. So if I put, suppose if I put some values like and token token is equals to token, token is equal to token, and here the a is getting MD5 hash, is getting SHA-1 hash, then again token, this value is getting SHA-1 hash, I get this value. Then if I put this into a form password hidden, I must get authenticated. Yeah. So this is the vulnerability called passed hash. So suppose you get a injection, like if I injection for like SQL injection, and you get a password which is in SHA-1 hash. So at that time you can just input you can convert that hash into a SHA-1 hash again, and then like you can take that value, you can add the token value, and then convert again into a SHA-1 and put that value into your form password hidden parameter, and you will be able to log in. So if you check out the database MySQL, use one select select everything from this users where where username is equals to a. Okay, user I think other database is being used. Config.php. Okay, this database is being used, right? Okay. Users. Yeah, I'm sorry. So if as I shown you like your a is this value. So suppose you have done a SQL injection and you get this value. So at this moment, what you can do, just convert this, convert this SHA-1 value and add a token value here and convert again into SHA-1 and put it into your request like I showed you in here, this one, in your password form hidden, and then again and then add a token value, edit it, okay, and then this token value you will be able to log in. So this vulnerability is called the password pass the hash vulnerability. Yeah, okay. So this vulnerability was a pass the hash vulnerability, and next one we are going to see that how this variables are being stored into database, like we do most SOAP auditing. Okay. Okay. Then if the server request is post request, and then check for the username, like check for the post request which like if it contains username, then that username is being converted, like it's being converted into real escape string where the colons are being sanitized using add slashes, like escaping that, like using a backward slashes, I mean, for username and for password also. Then a password token is being created where the token is your session token, which would be this one or this one also. Then on line 35 there's a query is being created, like from select id from users, where username is my username, which would be this, and sha1 concat password token, which is equals to my password. So what is happening here is the password, let me show you in proper way. So what is happening here is the password is going to be your password which is being stored, which is the like the SHA-1 password, suppose the A value. So A value was this one, right? So here with the A value, and then your password token. The token was your session token. So suppose session token is like you are inputting the session token. So it would be token token, and is being checked from my password, where my password is this one, and this is and this my password is from password hidden, where form password hidden I showed you that where the same thing is going on, where a character is getting SHA-1 hash, then again the session token and that value is getting the SHA-1 ma of a is getting again getting SHA-1, and this is getting checked. If these are true, then you would be able to log in. So before doing the white box pen testing, there are two important things that you should first enable. That one is the PHP error, like PHP display error, and second is the SQL log files, so that you can see that what request is getting made, or what queries were getting made, or if you or what errors are being created um, during malicious input, so that you would know that where the thing is getting wrong. So first, for PHP errors, you can go for this file etc php, okay, php see apache and php, and search for display display errors. You have to just remove this semicolon, and if there would be off, you can convert that to on. Just save it and just restart the service. Service apache 2 restart, okay, restart. And the other one is for MySQL. You can simply just go and search for the comment, like your for general log files, because I have taken other like MarineDB, so the log files would be in different place. So you can just search for it using a grep command, like grep -r into etc folder, and search for general log files. Okay, okay, sorry, I just this. Okay. In my case, this general log file was available here. I can do gedit, search for general log file here on line 56. Just remove these comments, save this file, and restart the service. At this point, you would be able to see the log files. Now, whenever I create a request, you can see select username from users where username is equal to a. If I sign out, okay, now when I will log in using a, then a, and submit it, here you can see the query which has been created. Select ID from users where username is a, and SHA1 concat password, the token, and your token and your password format value. And if I select this whole value and put it into the MySQL, I will get that ID. And this is how the authentication query is getting created. And as I told you that there's a one more feature called show logs. So just take a little check out how this show logs is getting created. So for this you can go for user log.php. This one. Okay, user log.php, and there's a query which is getting created. That is select everything from users where username is equals to login session. And what is this login session? Like what is the value of this login session? So at this point you can use the grep command again. You can say grep -r var www.html, and then htdocs, and e is going to be login, login, session, something equals to, and I get the values. You can see on line on this one in session.php. Okay, we'll open the session.php file. So, where login session value is equals to row username. So what is going, like, there's a check, username check, then select username from users where user check, and the username is directly taken from the table. For example, in this one, so username, suppose the username was a, so the row username a is equals to the login session. So at this point you can see, like, okay, the database is like this function is taking the username value from the database without sanitizing, because it could be assuming like there is no control in users, so sanitizing it would not play any role for in SQL injections. So according to a developer thinking, and when you can see there is no sanitization is going on, directly this input is taken from the SQL query, and then directly it is being executed for this in this SQL query. So if I just refresh this account, refresh this page, you can see select everything from user to a. At this you during authentication you would be thinking like doing like there would be a SQL injection here, but you come but as I showed you that MySQL real string escape function is being used to sanitize the user input, due to which you are not able to do any SQL injections. Even if you think like SQL map would be able to do it or beat this with this authentication and get some values, so we can just try it out. Example, just take this save item, uh, short save, okay, cd root stop. Okay, there was a white SQL map -r white none that mm, yes. And if you check this logs, all the column is being sanitized. We will just make it run here. But at this point, you can say like there is an option called register where your username is being stored in database, and okay, we are going to do a second order SQL injection. Suppose if I create a username called column, then or this is or and one is equals to one, and then comment. And if I register my username from this and log in this, and now if I go for show logs, I will get all the usernames. See, username A is being, there are so many usernames. Just a second, there is an issue. I think there is an issue. No, there was an issue. Sorry, username is already taken. Okay. Okay, I will register with a different. It's called 2 register. After I log in using it. Okay, fine. Yeah, I think the session was not ended here. That's why I was not able to. No problem. Okay, again I will wait. I will put one is equal to one, and then log in. So if I go and check for the show logs, I will get all the username which is there in database. You can see even for admin, your test, or different usernames are available here. And now if I register myself into I've already registered, I can log in using 1 is equal to 2, which is a false. And now if I go for show logs, I would not see any of the username. See, SQL app doesn't work. So now again, let me show you. See what the query is being created. Okay, so here you can see that your backslashes is being used, and like when the user log for the user log the query is being created, like username column or 1 is equal to 2, and that's why the query breaks like 1 is not equal to 2 and you don't get user logs. So at this point you can create a so at this point what you can say, you can think that you can create a username and like something like or substring. Let me show it here. You can create a username like this or substring substring. Substring, then you can say suppose admin and 01 is equals to a. So at this point you can say like if the a if this admin admin's first character is equals to a, like this the query will be true. So let's check this out. Hash here and create my username, password, submit, login, username, password, submit, show logs. I get nothing. So where I was wrong. So this helps me to find out that what went wrong. So you can just convert, you can just take this whole value, go to in your SQL and check this out, get nothing. So like the query was true, but still it didn't like the query was true. So at this point what you can do, just create something like not database version, version, okay, empty string. Okay, this was quite good, but still it's not working. Yeah. So if the subscript like 5 improve, 4 improve, if I go for select select version, it starts from 1. So if my version, if I put here 1, I get it true, but if I put some different value, I get 5, it's 0. Wrong, like it's get wrong value. So what I can do, I can just create a username which where I will go and check for, go and check whether the user table or the admin table's username starts like admin's user. Let me show you one table only. Set everything from admin. Okay, this is the values. So I can create a query where I will say go and check whether the substring of the table user substring from a table admin where the id is equal to 1 and where username's first character is start from a or b or c, something like that. So I will just create a loop for it where it will go and check for the values from the like a b c d, and if the and whichever the request, whichever the value is right, I will just get that letter from it, and I will get a username. And the same thing I will do for the password also, where I will go and check, go and say like go and check whether the first letter of the password starts from a or b or 2 or 3 or 4. And as the request is going like okay, there is a 2, okay, give me that value, then check for the second character, then third character, then fourth character. For this I have created this Python script, it's password.py, where I will get username and password of the admin table. I should just remove this. This is one wrong one. even if you decode this, you won't be able to get the value. So I've created this script which will create multiple users, uh, which will and then check for the show. Then it will go and check for this file, show logs this file, and if there are, and if it will check that if there are any contents or user or logs. If there is a log, means the query is right, and you will get that character. So what is going here is like from this the for username, inject function is getting created, where you have 40 and a query, then IP. The query is select username from admin where ID is equal to 1, and then IP is going to be your IP. Okay, then there's a loop which is from K and range from 1 to R. Sorry. So 1 to R is going to be 40, as you have imported there 40. So means the loop is going to be go for 40 times, where suppose suppose the first time when the loop will happen, it will set that there's an injection string variable which is or ASCII substring, then some value here which will be a inject, which is this one, and then K, which will be the value of this for this K, which is going to be here like 0 1 2 3. So it is like first character, then second character, then third character, fourth character, fifth character, like that. So suppose the character is 1, okay, so 1 1, so it will check for the first character. Then it will call a register function where it takes three parameters: IP, inject sorry two parameters, which is IP and inject string. So if I check this, then if I go to line 21, okay, line 21, for registration. So there's again a loop is being created from 32 to 126, for the 32 to 126, where a request is being a post request is getting created, which has three parameters. It is target and data and direct allow directs, redirects, which gets 302. So for this you have to put true, and then target is going to be your this, then data is going to be your for this data which I have shown you. As I showed you that we have to like login. We can log in using a no we are doing a registration where registration doesn't require any token, so only form, password hidden, then username, password, and registration. These parameters are being used. Then the value is then that and you get registered using the query, using your username, which was inject string, and replace, and that this char character which was here, which was here, that is char character, is getting replaced using this ASCII character, that is 32, then 33, then 34, 35, and 36, like that. So at the first moment, like you will get registered here, and then you will and it will come here, and it will check for the retrieve data, like your retrieve data is going to be login. So it will call a function called login, yeah, which again takes two parameters, where again the from range 32 to 126 is being made for logging the username using the password, and the password SHA, like your password was suppose the password was your column, or then you have to convert it into SHA-1, and again convert into SHA-1 by adding your token. So I will call, so this SHA-1 is being created from this function SHA-1, where I am converting my password into SHA-1. mm, this one, okay, here this SHA-1. Then your password, like the password was this, the password is password, then then this password is getting SHA-1, and then this password hash is again getting hashed by adding a token. So this function is getting called where your password and your token, both is getting merged and then and again converted into SHA-1 hash, and your password form hidden is getting created, which is this one, your hash password, and the username and the post, and then and for logging of and for the and then post request is getting made. And after, and if the request is if the request is successful, and it will check for the welcome in that response. If there is a welcome, then it will check for, and it will go and check for the user log files. And if the content length of this user log file is more than 750, then then like you have contents in then you have content like logs, you have the logs available, which is equals to true. And if the and when it's true, it will return j, and the j is the value of the loop. Suppose the qd is equals to 32, so that the char of 32 is some value, and that value is will get returned. So if I go and if you check here, when I put this, my bad. If you see that content length is 744, where it doesn't have any user log. So I can assume like if the content length is more than 750, there are logs available, and the query is right, and then return the value of the j, and where the value is being and the retrieve value is equals to the j value. And then if and then and if you check it, if that, that if there is a retrieve value, then it will convert it into char, like from ASCII to normal, like a b c or that value, and then it will print that value, and again it will create a loop for it, and again loop like this like this you will be able to get the password and the username. This takes one argument, which is target, and my target is local host ht docs docs ht docs. So there it is. You are getting like values are getting printed here, and if you see this SQL log files, pretty long files. So if I just, it's saying like select username from users where admin is equals to some black slashes, or ASCII, like it's actually here the it is getting logged in. Yeah, registration. Yeah, now here the registration is happening, where you select username from user where ASCII characters this is this. No, sorry, actually that was for user logs. In registration is happening in insert, which is here. You see here, I'll just pause the video. can see from database, you can see like this value is getting printed. Or 5, see more values are four values. 9, and there are no more values further. So this is our credentials. So I have the credential of admin uh, by using a second order SQL injection, but I am not able to log in because I can't decode it. Because if I go for SHA1 decrypt, it will not be able to decrypt it. So at this time you can use that vulnerability I showed you, the pass the hash vulnerability, and with the help of that you would be able to log in admin account also. So I'll go here, and the username is admin, and password I don't know. So I go set password would be what it is. Yeah. So as I showed you the pass the hash vulnerability, you can just take this value and add a character parameter called token, which is and token is equals to some like anything like TOK again token or like PST test. Also the token value is test, and you have to convert this value again into SHA1 from TEST test, put a hash and get this value and paste it into here. I hope you will be able to log in. Yeah, I am successfully able to log in using a fast hash vulnerability. So right now here there are two options available. One, I can see like search for username. If I search A, okay, I have to switch off this intercept. Okay, I get the values, and if I go for test, I get 2 users. If I go A, you can see that there are so many users, like 4,424, because when I did the SQL injection using the Python script, there were it creates 4,400 something 4,400 registration. It does 4,400 registrations to just get that username and password. You can see let's select everything from select count from users. Okay, there are right now 4,429, but our Python script created 4,400 users. And if you want to see the user how this, so this is how something looks like. So there are two features. At this point, you would be also thinking for a SQL injections, like, but there are nothing. But if you do a source code review, you find it again the uh, MySQL real string is being used, and due to which colon is not being is getting sanitized. And there's a one more feature called for uploading files. The file is being uploaded, and if I go for the FOF and search for the file or docs and go for uploads, my file is being here. But there is a one more issue. Like there is a file called .htaccess which denies all the requests. So even if you are able to upload a malicious PHP file, like you will not be able to upload it. But even if you are able to upload a PHP file, you won't be able to execute that, because if I go and search for uploads, I will get internal server error, which I will not be able to get a upload a malicious PHP file. Even if I upload a malicious PHP file, I won't be able to execute it. So if I go and do a source code review for this one, maybe I find out some vulnerabilities, like even for SQL injection if there is a possibility. So for this function I should go for welcome.php. Then yeah, I'll show you the best way how to find out where this function is being used. Let's go here, intercept, to some values, a, and a name character is being used, and a submit. So you can like search for name wherever the name is there and you can find. But right now this PHP, this PHP file is being used here. PHP search.php, this one. So I should go to search.php, and it says if the server has a request method for post, then check whether the post has a parameter called name, and if there is if there is this parameter, then go and then just a second, I think there is something wrong here. This is the extra. This okay. If the post parameter has a name, if a post request has a name parameter, then it is going to be sent. Then it will just sanitize that value, escaping all the special characters, especially the colon, and it will create a query which is select username from from users where username like some values, and then it will, and then if the if the count if the result is, and it will just upload a result, and if the and it will just print whatever the results are. Mhm. Okay, so there is a so you can select username from users where username like the name value. Now if you go and see this file quick.php, there the name variable is equals to the post from the post request. So means like this name value is actually not getting sanitized, but it is getting sanitized for, it is not like it is getting sanitized for a MySQL real string, but it is also being used for a this template which is tweak.php, where where the results are being rendered using a name, whatever the name would be. So if I search for name, and you can see that you searched for a, so this thing is actually being displayed using a template which is a twig.php, which is from a twig function. You can see use and search for the results, where results it is equal to the name. So as I showed you in my uh, presentation, you can input some values like this. So if the result is 49, you might have a you will have a SSTI vulnerability. So yeah, I get 49, and even if I put something else, bad username, and if I add a username, then this, and a tag, okay, yeah. So this also confirms that there is a SSTI vulnerability. So if I put this payload into it, it should print the ID command. There it is. So at this point, if I create a shell like nc nb lp 1234, and say nc nv 192.168.0.142. This is my IP, the local host IP, and the port is 12444, and bin such, and listen, I get the reverse shell. Oh, sorry. Uh, okay. Okay. This is how I have just compromised the whole, like get a whole website, and got a reverse shell using three vulnerabilities. That was type juggling, and second order SQL injection, and SSTI vulnerability. So now our last motive is to create a whole Python script so that I can register, then log in, then check for the username and get some username and password of the admin, and then log in into admin account, and then check, and then go and then put this and do a SSTI vulnerability, and get a reverse shell. So for this I have created this one, this exploit. Okay, this is a pretty big exploit. Okay, I'll explain you. All the things were same, but what extra is here is like, it is again getting registered, it is login and checked for user logs, and then printing all the username and password of the admin account, and then logging into an admin account using the same uh, password vulnerability. Okay, once I have logged in, I will then I will create again one more request where the target is where I will create a payload, which was this ncnv, and the local host, and like the IP of my local host, and the port, and then it will create a request. To see what requests are necessary, you can always use burp to see what parameters are needed to create a particular request. For example, this there are two parameters. One is submit and name, and so in the submit and name, these parameters are required, and you create a post request, and as soon as post request is executed, request is made, uh, you and if you are listening on port 444, then you just get a reverse shell. I will upload this whole PHP in my in my GitHub account. You can just take a look from that. Okay, Python. Right. Okay, it takes target, then localhost, then local port. So my local host is LOC, local host. Target is localhost, HTTPOCH docs. Then my L host is going to my IP address 123.142, and my port I'm going to listen. Okay, the all the okay, the same thing is going, which I have done in password.python, password.py. Okay, I just pause the video here. Hmm. Okay, I have got the credentials, then I have got logged in into the admin account and trying to get reverse shell, and it's asking me whether I have opened the port, because I have created in script. You can see before executing this request, request is asking whether if I have opened my port or not. So I will just open a port on enter, I get a shell, where is id, ls, pwd, and if I after this execute, all done, my script is ready. So this is how you have, so this is how you can just go and do from a white box pen testing and search for the queries for the malicious query where you can input your uh, user input and getting a second order SQL injection and pass the hash vulnerability and SSTI also. Mhm. Yeah, these are some of the links you can take. You can use to for studying for second order SQL injections and server side and for type juggling also. I've also uploaded my lab. Okay, I have done this lab of a type juggling and of also Git, also white box also. You can see white box. This is the lab I have also used. Okay, so that's it. If you have any questions on whatever, even for labs, if you are installing this lab in your system, and if there are any issues, you can uh, contact me on my Twitter account. My Twitter account is trouble one underscore grown. Yeah, thank you.